I don't like in general because, and I bring it up because I am in business that is women for the most part. And I have a lot of opinions on that part. I don't like when people refer to women as strong at all. I am hardcore feminist, but original, the proper feminist. I have traditional values. But I also think, because how the times changed, I also think that it is essential for women to know how to take care of themselves. Just because you might have to. It's always lovely to have a man, a husband or boyfriend that's taking care of you and that is masculine and he's a provider and what we see what ideal man is. And unfortunately that's not going to be the case many times. Some women never get a man like that. And so my thing became with lash makers, unintentionally actually, is to teach women financial independence through beauty industry. And in the same mix, I always try to convince women to still to stay soft. You can be a business owner, but I am so against the whole culture of boss bae and stuff like that. I hate when people call me boss. I hate all these things. And
They'll tell you the same thing.
it's just I believe that woman can make money and most of any more than that even is something that fulfills you too. You find something that you love doing, something to wake up to every day. And it's the whole mix of that and you take care of yourself financially, if you need to, and it's a beautiful thing. But I do also teach this ideology to women that getting into this business that you do all of these things, but you gotta stay soft. You gotta preserve that feminine side of yours. And this is, I think, that combination, I think, is what brought me here, and I'm still standing because if you just find a balance as a woman in any business, you go and you build something, and people look at you different, men look at you different, and it becomes very interesting dynamics. And so I really believe that once you find that balance, you found something that you love doing. Now you got purpose in life. Now you can use that to create financial freedom. And then you understand what has to come with it in terms of how you're going to maintain your behavior and your views and what your values are, because the values change for a lot of people. Women, I can talk about this for hours because I know a lot of women, unfortunately, that once they make money and they buy a couple of cars and a couple of houses, and now they believe they don't need a man. And I don't need kids. And this is right here is what I'm always trying to keep them away. The newbies, the new girls that get into the industry. And so that's the mix that I'm trying to pass on. And that's how what I live by. And I really, really believe this is the mix that keeps me sane.
Yeah.
And keeps me going.
And how has it been with that dynamic, having a son and having a business? And I mean, that's kind of where you were going with that, but go a little bit deeper with that. Cause a lot of people think, to your point earlier, is that it has to be one or the other, or if it is choosing a business, then you have to be the boss and be like the, independent woman and all that. And you can't, so.
It's a tricky one for sure. It's a tricky one because what you just said can be maybe one or another. That's the biggest privilege of life. So if in ideal world, in a perfect world, if there is, let's say, a husband and wife, and the husband goes and he does the business part and the money part and taking care of the family, staying home with your children is the biggest gift from life. That's out of question. And taking care of your home by yourself. I get emotional talking about this. It's so crazy. Sorry.
No, gather yourself. I'll tell you that, and the gentleman that was just doing the podcast, he was my last guest. He was my chiropractor, and when he started talking about his wife,
Yeah.
about raising the kids, and he got very emotional, and then I got emotional because I was explaining to him, when I look at my wife being a mom, that's when I'm the most attracted to her.
Yes.
You know, like it's like when you see your wife being just an unconditional love to your kid, and protect her, and you know, especially when they're like little babies,
Yes.
and you know, we can't do anything. We don't have nipples, so you know, we're worthless during that stage. So watching, getting up throughout the night and breastfeeding and changing the diapers, and not that I don't help a little bit, but you know, but I helped a lot
Yeah.
more with 7 because it was the pandemic. But with Sage, it's been just watching her.
It's the most beautiful
And
thing.
it's just beautiful, you know, cooking and cleaning,
Yes.
and there's this ridiculous narrative out there now that's like, you know, like that's not okay. Like, of course it's okay.
It's,
Like, it's
the
wild.
problem with that is that times changed a lot, and it's for the bad and the good, obviously. But as we do watch the dynamics of relationships, you do see that sometimes, unfortunately, things just don't work out. It just don't. You know, people change. Even if you start a relationship and you're on the same page and you have the same values and you want the same things, unfortunately, that's the nature of humans. Sometimes your values change, your opinions change, things you like change. All of these crazy changes happening that you have no control of. And of course, this is also debatable. You know for how long you can make it work, and keep what you have. There's many factors to it, right? So that's a different conversation. But unfortunately, we do see a lot of, you know, the numbers of divorces is just extremely high.
Yeah, skyrocketing.
And
I think the average marriage now is like 3.5 years or something like
it is
that.
it is
It's
very
really low.
unfortunate.
I'm not sure
Yeah,
the data
and
on
so and
that.
so
Gonna fact check me right there.
yeah, it's, you know, but bottom line is a lot.
Yeah.
And so dynamics definitely changed, and I feel like we in such a funky times, you know, between the social media and all this stuff and everything. People have this false sense of options. You know what I'm saying? And so everybody feel like everyone is replaceable. So it's a little complicated. There's a lot of factors to it, but unfortunately, sometimes there is a chance that this perfect idea of what, you know, the woman and man could be, it doesn't work out. And so that's why I believe that the woman should have something of her own, because sometimes, unfortunately, you could go and take that role. I could be, you know, somebody's wife and have 3 children, and the man one day gonna find somebody else and leave me with those 3. Or sometimes they don't even take care of the children. And so this is what my fear is. I was always so scared to not be able to take care of myself or my children. And so a lot of things that I do in life come from that. There's a lot of weird things that I tell people that they're a little bit surprised that I say that, because of the dynamics of how human relationships are sometimes, unfortunately, especially when it involves children. And so me personally, I knew that I'm going to have a child closer to 30, because I wanted to make sure that I have money of my own, that if something happened, God forbid something happens, you know, my husband passes away, I don't know, goes missing, I don't know what's gonna happen, leaving me. My biggest fear is, how am I gonna take care of my baby? So I wanted to make sure that if I have no one and I have a child, that child lacks and missing nothing. And that is the mama bear, you know, trait that I have in me, because I am a mother to like a lot of people.
Okay.
I take care of a lot of people, and it's one of those things.
How many girls do you have under you, or girls and guys? I'm assuming. So like are they like they work for you, right?
Well,
like
right
do you have like a
now,
little empire? Like is that how it works, or how does it work?
I work with a lot of people, like more of a little bit like remotely more, because
Okay.
I have a lot of ambassadors and brand partners and stuff like that, but more close in a location. I actually did have a full salon with 4 artists, and then we have small staff. I don't have that anymore. I closed down the salon because it's no longer what I do. I don't really like salon business.
All right.
So I focus more on academy and merchandise. Merchandise is my main business, so I don't need staff anymore this large. And so I don't really have many people work for me directly, but I'm talking more taking care of people directly, like as my parents, as my sister, and this is my point, is that I just wanted to make sure that I can take care of myself and people that I love, my family, no matter if I have men in my life or I don't.
Right.
And so this is why it's tricky, because this is why I got emotional a little bit, because it's very interesting that I really try to have the balance, and I'm gonna give myself a little credit and be a little more forgiving, because I think I've done pretty well with the balance. I've spent a lot of time with my son while working, because also the amazing opportunity to do a lot of what I do from home. The type of business that I do is incredible in that sense, because you choose when you go into work physically, because a lot of those things are remote. And so this was great. But and I think this is like a mom thing. There's always going to be, or maybe I'm wrong, maybe dad guilt too. A little guilt.
What?
Like a parent guilt.
About?
In some sense that you like should have spent more time with him. It's like you should have done more. But I think...
Well, I don't think I'm at that age, like that stage yet. You know what I mean? Like I think like right now my kids are 4 and a newborn, so I feel like I'm doing a good job now. Now I will say, like, as you get busier, and my biggest thing is, what I try to do is just be very, very intentional with my time. So
exactly,
if I know I don't have meetings and stuff to do, then I'm spending time with my kids. Like, you know, it's like, because you don't know when those days are. So when you do have them, whether it's a Tuesday or Thursday, like, don't wait for the weekend to hang out with your kids. Like, you know what I mean? So if you have any opening to hang out with your kids, and my ritual too is I come to work at 5 a.m. and work out, sometimes train a couple of people, but then I always take my son to school, always. Because it's so, like, it's just such a beautiful, you know, 10 to 20 minute drive. You listen to music, you kind of have like little fun conversations, dance offs, and then you get that hug before they go in. And, you know, it's just, to me, that's, you can't get that back.
Yes.
So you should be very purposeful in those moments. And like seeing people having their nannies drop off their kids, like,
and
it's just weird. And I'm not like judging them.
That's what I had a lot of times.
But that's tough, like, you know.
And so as a woman, it's a bit different, because it's like, sometimes I know that she's feeding my son from a bottle, you know, when I could have done it, for example. This is the little times that I'm talking about. But I have to, and it took me time to learn this, but you do have to be a little bit more forgiving, because at the end of the day, we do so much, you know?
Yes, and everybody has, like, it's the totality. It's not incidences. It's like the you know, you're not done. Like, you've got this whole, you have at least...
It's a bigger picture.
At least 10 years. There's
a bigger picture.
Yeah. So, you know, you could have a season where you don't get to spend as much time, but then you can always make that up, and you can always... So,
absolutely.
It's the totality of that relationship. And even going into adulthood, like, how I am with my parents now is completely different than how I was when I was under their roof, you know? And even, like, during those rebellion years, whatever you want to call it, you know? So just, it's so beautiful to see, like, and to your point earlier, like, we change so much as individuals. Like, we are not, I mean, I like to say I'm not even the person I was yesterday. You know, like, we're always evolving, we're learning, we're growing, experiencing different things. Your kids are changing you in different ways. People, these conversations, you walk away sometimes and you're like, I want to apply that to my life, or I want to not apply that to my life. You know, like, so everything is changing you, everything, your environment, the everything. So
Absolutely. And so, yeah, the balance, of course, there can be balance. But again, it's with the little guilts and stuff like that, what we're feeling sometimes, if we feel it, you know, you do have to look at bigger picture, you know? So I did have this little, you know, wish I could be here more or done that more. But I look back and I have to give it all credit because, you know, I couldn't have retired my mother at her 50s, for example, you know, or take care of my sister moving her country and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things I got to do because I have this business.
right.
And so there's so much that I got to do in terms of helping people and just good things in my life that this business allowed me to do. So that's why I say, you know what? There is no wins without sacrifices.